Do you want to go next, Jordan?
I would love to go next. I want to talk to you this Fur-Bruary. We've spoken about this particular cryptid a couple of times before, but I wanted to really zero in on it because I found some interesting firsthand accounts.
Ooh,
Or rather, okay, so there's a wonderful podcast called Monsters Among Us.
sure.
Yeah.
Love Monsters Among Us. It's all firsthand accounts. And I was listening to it, and a guy called from South America and described an encounter where his uncle took him hunting, and his uncle was this like badass, like imagine like kind of Craven the Hunter style motherfucker.
Okay. Yeah.
He was like he like hunted like panthers and shit, and like would sit basically in the Amazon jungle trophy hunting.
Right, he's constantly looking for a spidery man.
Yeah. I mean, who isn't? But this one more so. Yeah, if
that
he
is
could,
my Bumble like.
if he could bag a Spider-Man, it would really cement his legend. But I digress. Anyway, his uncle takes him hunting, and this dude used to go out here all the time. This was his whole deal. He knew every animal that came through there. He's not a frightened guy. And he was up in this tree blind. And the kid, the nephew who's telling the story, says that he like was sneaking. He had like a little cracker, like those little cheesy cracker things.
Sure.
Mhm.
Those packets. And he was like trying to sneak one open. And his uncle like clapped a hand over his mouth and like pulled him in real tight and was like, shh. And this was in the morning, like 4:00 in the morning when the sun was still down. It was like before the sun came up at all. And he thought at first that his uncle was like mad because he was making noise with the crackers. But then he like listened, and he said that he could hear what sounded like something enormous coming through the woods, like elephant size, like something stomping through the woods, breaking branches. He said that all the other wildlife in the area got incredibly quiet, and there was like a smell that he talks about that he's like I could smell it through my uncle's hand. I could smell it through like the mask he was wearing for the cold, and he's like it smelled like deep rotting leaves and wood and even meat, like bio, just everything. And he said that he was sure that if it hadn't have been dark, he would have been able to see this smell. That's how strong it was. And his uncle,
he's sure his uncle hadn't just been wrist deep in a skunk ape's pelt minutes
and
before.
his uncle, this man who, you know, once again hunts leopards with his bare penis, a real man's man is the point, is terrified. He's just scared to death. And his uncle told him later that he believed that they had encountered the Mapinguari.
Mapinguari?
The Mapinguari.
Spell that for us.
Mapinguari. The Mapinguari.
Mapinguari.
Now,
Oh,
Mapinguari, yeah. It's a real heater. The Mapinguari is somewhat famous. I would say, you know, a D-list cryptid, but to people who know this type of stuff, it's up there. But cryptid from South America.
Just because it hasn't crossed over doesn't mean it's a D-list, okay?
Sure.
In South America, this is top tier cryptid.
It's just it's very elusive, you know. The encounters are few and far between is the problem.
I'm sharing a link on the Zoom.
According to Brazilian stories, it's from Brazil. The Mapinguari, sometimes spelled with a Y, was once an Amazonian shaman who discovered the key to immortality thousands of years ago. He angered the gods and was severely punished as to his discovery, which forced him to be transformed into a wandering, hairy beast for the rest of his life. Due to application of the name to what seem to be different cryptids, modern sightings show the beast as a giant sloth. whereas older sightings describe it as an ape-like creature. Many cryptozoologists speculate that the Mapinguari is either a mylodontid or a megalonychid. So there's a lot of people push for the idea that this creature, what people are seeing when they're encountering it, is actually the remaining breeding population of megafauna.
Prehistoric.
Yeah,
right.
Basically, you're talking about these giant ground sloths because some of the original descriptions of the Mapinguari are congruous with the descriptions of giant sloths, and people have they do that thing where they show the picture book to supposed people who have seen it, and they ask them to pick out which one it is. And people have pointed to these giant sloths as something close to what they saw, but medium-sized ground sloths from the ice age that lived in the area, blah blah blah. The creature also supposedly has a horrid odor which can supposedly knock a man unconscious. It is said to sometimes be a humanoid creature with a mouth in the middle of its stomach. It is sometimes said to have one eye, long claws, caiman skin, backward feet, and a second mouth. Some samples of so-called Mapinguari hair and droppings were collected by investigator David Oren, but turned out to be the deposits of giant anteaters and the hair of small rodents. Almost said small robots. That would be interesting too.
We've collected the hair of a small robot.
Yeah, we found robots in the Amazon.
Why are they growing the hair on the robots these days?
So this is from cryptids.fandom.com.
Hell yeah. Max X.
The wiki page on the Mapinguari lists its appearance as follows. Initial descriptions of the Mapinguari's appearance were vague. It was described as a primate, dark and thick-set and bipedal, but still very agile. The traditional folkloric depiction of the Mapinguari is that of an ape or man-like creature. It was described to investigator Paulo Anibal G. Mesquita as a flat-snouted quadrupedal animal, which could nonetheless assume a bipedal gait, with caiman-like skin, long brown fur, a flattened snout, and robust claws. When startled, it was said to rear up on its hind legs and show its claws, and some informants told Mesquita that it emitted an extremely foul odor from its belly. Oh, so like the mouth on its belly was like...
It's just got stink breath.
I have on the YouTube video and on our Twitch right now, I got a picture in the corner, and its belly mouth is full of teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is. It's a spooky one, and it's got a little bit of a Crumb from Our Real Monsters vibe, where it like rears up and its horrible mouth is like and burps like a stinky belch at you.
For sure.
And then the stink knocks you unconscious, and then it's like real monsters.
You guys remember?
You remember. David Oren. So David Oren was the guy who he's the kind of the Lauren Coleman of the Mapinguari, because honestly, when it comes to potential living fossils, the Mapinguari is a huge it's a front runner. It's like the Mapinguari, the freaking orang pendek, and like a couple other maybe deep sea type critters. But the Mapinguari seems like a likely candidate. It's thick, crazy jungle down there, and it's like this was the habitat of this creature that seemingly lived at least long enough to encounter native peoples and the tribal peoples of the area if they have an oral tradition about it, which is a super interesting thing to dedicate your entire life to become a laughingstock for. And this is the guy that did that.
But you need to do that. People need to do that, or else we wouldn't know about the gorilla.
Listen, he's doing the work that I wish I could do. Honestly.
Indeed.
I don't mean to slam you, but this guy is the Van Helsing of the Mapinguari. I will find the beast and sleep with it. What?
Who said that?
No, I didn't say it. I might have thought it. Oh no.
Smoke bomb.
Smoke bomb. David Oren, renowned, respected cryptozoologist, pieced together a description of the Mapinguari in 1993 based on, because he did do a lot of important work, based on interviews with a number of claimed eyewitnesses. From their accounts, he described the Mapinguari as a man-sized animal no more than 1 meter and 80 centimeters long, with long, reddish fur, backwards feet, and a monkey-like face. Later, in 2001, after speaking with more witnesses and 7 hunters...
After that report, he's like, I need some more witnesses here.
I don't know why, but I really caught up on the backwards feet.
Now, the backwards feet is a repeating motif
Yes.
in a lot of like folklore and stuff, because it kind of denotes like trickster spirits or animals that are rarely seen or seldom seen because they're
Right.
difficult to hunt because the tracks lead you away from them.
Clever girl.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, you'll see that. People say that about the orang pendek too, and even up into North America, they talk about hunting like certain legendary animals that have backwards feet, so you can't reliably track them.
Weird.
It is weird, and honestly, it feels like that's the one where it's like that's what people like. That's the part that people added, huh? That's a little too clever to be a real thing.
It does seem like a really specific evolutionary
Yeah.
trait. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I can.
And it only happens in the animals we can't find. But no more than 1 meter tall. Yeah, so he dropped that on the scientific community to a long silence. And he was like, is what a crazy person would say. I'll be back with more evidence. Later in 2001, after speaking with more witnesses and 7 hunters who claimed to have killed specimens,
I've killed the creature.
presumably eaten it,
I mean, yes, right?
I guess.
Because
I mean-
and no trophy, like that's very
Yeah.
weird.
You must have done
Seems
so.
like you would-
Yeah. Must have
You would keep
kept-
that weird stomach jaw.
Yeah.
You know, like people that kill sharks, they have their giant
Mhm, they
shark
have a tooth.
mouths.
Yeah, okay. You'd keep yeah, sure. That you keep the bone that makes the mouth stomach work.
Just like mounted
Yeah.
on your wall. That's my hunt.
Truly.
Assuming the stomach mouth isn't all cartilage and it just like gums you for a while.
Sure. Now, there's also the chance that they just view it as such a cursed and foul beast that once you kill it, you just do
Right,
away
just
with it.
destroy it.
Yeah. Or something like that. I don't know. Backwards feet, monkey-like face. Later in 2001, he was able to provide a presumably more accurate description of the animal. According to his 2001 paper, the Mapinguari is a very heavy, powerfully built animal up to 2 meters, 6 foot, 6 inches tall, when standing bipedally, which breaks the roots of trees with its steps. It is covered in long, coarse fur, which ranges in color from reddish to brownish to blackish, and has a muzzle similar to that of a horse or a burro, though shorter, which is armed with 4 peg-shaped canine teeth. Its formidable claws are shaped like those of a giant anteater, but are the size of the giant armadillo. Its tail is short and broad. Various other physical features which may apply to the Mapinguari are described in the Segamai and Kidi Harara. I don't know what that is. For instance, the matted fur of the Segamai is said to resemble the fibers of the trunk of a specific type of palm tree. And the
Right, so
Segamai
a
and
real,
the Kita Harara are both said to live in caves. All right, this sounds like a different kind of related creature. Sometimes, but not often, it is described as having more fantastic characteristics, such as a single eye and a mouth in its abdomen. Oren writes that the single eye appears predominantly in legend, not usually in first-hand sightings. Most famously, it is reputed to be invulnerable to bullets and arrows unless hit in the navel, the eye, the mouth, or sometimes elsewhere on the head.
Headshots and right in that belly mouth.
Yeah, sometimes just
Yeah.
anywhere in the head, apparently.
So there's your reason for having a belly button from the way back in the Monstroco segment.
Sure, fair. You do want to keep that belly button
To
as
die
a weak
by
point.
a fired arrow.
Yeah. The invulnerability is sometimes attributed to thick crocodile-like skin or to the animal's hair. Hunters who claim to have shot specimens say they used special solid lead shotgun slugs fired at the head. A special
Oh.
shot used for hunting tapirs fired at the navel from the 16 caliber shotgun, and all the bullets of a 38 caliber revolver emptied into the chest.
Damn, they went to town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two kinds of tracks are attributed to the Mapinguari. The first and most common are round as a pestle, like those attributed to the Pez de Garrafa. That's another strange creature. Are found on the ground around vegetation and feces, even during the dry season when the earth is baked hard. Huh. Something to do in the dry season, huh? The second tracks are just like people's, but backwards with only 4 toes.
So, not like people's.
Not at all. The Mapinguari's feces are always described to Oren as just like a horse's, and are said to contain poorly broken down, recognizable plant matter such as leaves and stems. Of all the Amazonian mammals, only the South American tapir produces similarly horse-like feces.
Weird.
So if anybody's ever looking for critter poops down there,
Now you know.
keep a lookout for that.
If you see the poop of the tapir, it might be the Mapinguari.
True. So these are things that you learn about the Mapinguari. There are lots more facts and things of this nature. This is the 1993 paper that David Oren wrote about the Mapinguari showed that the characteristics were then known were consistent with a human-sized mylodontid ground sloth. That's what he believes it to be. Almost all known hair samples from mummified ground sloths are reddish in color. They're believed to have walked with their claws turned inwards.
Ooh.
Okay.
Which would give rise to stories of backwards feet.
Yep.
As the unusual curvature would leave people to interpret the tracks the wrong way around. And fossil ground sloth tracks have been misinterpreted as giant human footprints, which they closely resemble in the past. Interesting.
I mean, that's pushing me more towards living fossil, a land coelacanth.
Yeah. Oren suggests that the more common round track attributed to the Mapinguari could be the imprint or the tip of its powerful tail. The fossilized feces of ground sloths are almost identical to those of horses. Just like the Mapinguari's reputed invulnerability could be explained by twofold. The mylodontid's triple-layer bone ossicles covering the shoulders, back, and thighs, as well as the powerful, almost fused rib cage present in some ground sloths. The combination of both characteristics will explain why only a shot to the navel or face can kill a Mapinguari.
Well, that's crazy. So it has like built-in endo armor.
Yeah.
Good for it.
Yeah, that's a lot of powers. Oren's study of ground sloth hyoid bones suggests to him that they would have been capable of loud vocalizations, just like the sounds that the creatures make. Only the monkey-like face is inconsistent with what is known of ground sloths, but Oren suggested that some species could have had such faces, as the tree sloths do.
Maybe monkey face is just something like it's a common slur for somebody in Brazil with a terrible face.
Sure.
Like I saw this fucking monkey face walking around out there, all slothy like.
All slothy like, yeah. And they were like, no, we're not having any of that. Yeah.
Rightfully so.
So that's the Mapinguari, and those are that's the kind of the study of a scientist who sort of gave his life to this. And believes it to be ground sloths, you know? And honestly, I do too. I think that there could be something down there.
There's something down there for sure. There's too many reports. They're all
Very
consistent.
reasonable.
Scrulping around. Just a real quick question. Are we recording on Zoom?
We are right now, yes.
Great,
Oh, you
because
are?
I'm not in a
Oh,
Zencaster.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
Dope.
Because Zencaster is doing
They
its
fixed
weird
it.
update thing.
Well, they did stuff. But I like how
fixed
you
it.
asked that question 40 minutes into, or 54 minutes into our show.
Hey, buddy. I was trying to make sure I'm filling the gaps.
You're filling the gaps.
That's the end of my segment called Mapinguari Zone.
I like it. I like it. Let's end with mine. Another
The
furry cryptid.
The Mapinguari Zone.
Oh. Beautiful name.
It's called the Mapinguari Zone.
Nate, you're no longer master name maker. Jordan now has the title.
Sorry, bud.
Oh, shit. Well, because I was going to call it Justin Mapinguarini.
You lost it. You lost
It's too
it.
bad.
Idol.
It's too bad
Justin.
that you'll never get that opportunity.
All right, let's end this wonderful episode by traveling to the wonderful land of Kenya and talking
Wrap
about
it up.
the Nandi
Love
Bear.
The Natty Bear. I think I've heard about the Natty Bear.
Oh, the Nandi Bear is another sloth-like creature.
Love it. Super sloth app.
I'm going to put this in the Zoom for the patrons and
sloth
everyone.
with me. Let's sloth away.
There's Wikipedia's, and it's a fearsome bear-like creature.
If you could use some bamboo for food, is that what we eat? I don't know. Oh, wait, this is the Nandi Bear.
Nandi Bear.
Nandi. I thought it was Natti, which I think is something else.
We'll find
'Cause
out. That's a different episode. When we go down the letters.
I remember thinking it sounded like it was being a naughty bear.
We'll go
See,
into it. It's a little bit naughty. Yes.
I heard Natty Bear, and I was picturing a bear that was like dressed as Paul F. Tompkins. Just a very
Or like a bear drinking a natty ice.
Well,
different bear.
in East
Same
African
flair.
in East African folklore, the Nandi Bear is a creature said to live in East Africa. It takes its name from the Nandi people who live in western Kenya. It is also known as Kemosit, Karit, Kadulu, Noloko, and Doba, which is the Arabic word for it.
All right, so a lot of people have seen this thing.
Oh, many people of different tribes and cultures, indeed. Descriptions of the Nandi Bear are of a ferocious, powerfully built carnivore with high front shoulders over 4 feet tall and a sloping back. Stories of the Nandi Bear state that it is fierce, nocturnal, stands on its hind legs, and can kill animals. Charles Williams Hobley authored a diagram of its supposed foot in 1913.
Well, I mean, yeah, it can kill animals. It's a bear. Technically, most things can kill animals.
Indeed. But if you're looking on our YouTube or on our Twitch videos right now and see that thing, it is an amalgamation of sloth and bear, and it is taking multiple people to try and subdue this creature.
Sloth bear. You have kind of a South African boer here with a rifle, and then like a Zulu warrior with a spear, and neither of them look like they are going to be able to face down this weird.
I like how they're pushing the white man towards it. He was like, yes, you should go towards there.
There it is.
There it is.
Touch it. Touch it.
You should touch this.
Oh, and the caption is good too. For years, hunters and explorers have stalked this famous monster, but nobody has brought one back to civilization as yet.
No, so it has been seen multiple times. It's been hunted. It is, I guess, it's like the Kenyan Bigfoot in a sense. That it's this cryptid that has definitely been seen multiple times by multiple people, but we can't bring the body back.
Well, and also Africa is one of those places, just like the Amazon, where it's like it's so thick and so wild still that like it's difficult to like straight up the inner Congo. There's places that just no one's ever been there.
Oh yeah,
because you can't go there unless you don't mind not getting back ever.
The Nandi people call it karit. Local legend holds that the Nandi Bear also has reddish hair, long feet, and is said to scalp people.
What? Oh no!
So apparently it also kills more than well, I mean, a human's an animal, so
What
it
is
still
it?
kills
What with
takes
the
trophies.
scalps?
For trophies, that's the only thing I can think of.
If it needs skin, it can use Monstroko skin by the foot.
It doesn't have money.
Well, surely we can work something
We
out.
can
This
work
is
something
awful.
out. Yes. In 1961, Gardner Soule
Said goodbye to his scalp.
noted that sightings were reported in Kenya throughout the 19th and early 20th century, but it has never been caught or identified. Sightings of the Nandi Bear decreased over time. In 1983, Richard Meinerzagahagen speculated that it may have been an anthropoid ape now extinct on account of decreased rainfall.
Wild.
Which then throws out there, so just Kenya has an unidentified ape that we should now identify?
Yeah, I guess that's not that's like a lateral move, man.
Yeah.
When a guy walks in and he's like, I know what the Nandi Bear is. It's an ape. Like, all right.
We haven't discovered which ape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Kind
one
of
that's
answering
taking
our
everybody's
question.
scalp.
Yeah, the scalp ape is a good culprit, maybe. A likely suspect.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
you answered our question with another question, guy with impossible name.
the scientific evaluation, of course, this is from Wikipedia, #1 paranormal source.
Mm-hmm.
Mainstream paranormal source, not our secret paranormal sources.
Mm-hmm.
There is no scientific evidence that the Nandi Bear exists. Alleged sightings are suggested to be misidentifications of known species, such
Yeah.
as this ape that's now extinct that we don't know about.
Oh yeah, so you just misidentified a Bigfoot. It's like they have the reverse problem over there that we do here. Where it's like, no, there's no bear. You just saw Bigfoot and didn't realize it.
In 1923, Charles William Andrews suggested that the Nandi Bear may be a surviving representation of the extinct Calicothra, which is a odd-toed mammal that lived in North America, Eurasia, and Africa during the Middle Eocene period.
Yeah. Yeah, those sloths.
Yes.
See, people are sleeping on the sloths.
There could be a great missing link sloth connection to where like we see
Sure.
these sloths that are almost in different shapes and everything, and maybe mistaken them as bears or
Get out
this
there,
guy
get looking.
or Bigfoot.
Social distance, Get
In-
out there looking for your Mapinguaris. This
in-
could be the year of the sloth.
In 2000, paleontologist Lewis L. Jacobs commented that if this extinct sloth existed now, they would have been found out just like the giant forest hog was.
Giant forest hog?
That's right.
That's right. He's all about the forest hog.
Where did that happen? When did I never what?
I'm going to it. We're going to find out a little bit. It's the Wikipedia's form of that one doesn't include that it was apparently just thought of to be fake.
Giant horist fog.
But they are in
Oh yeah,
a
look
little
at 'em.
bit
They look
south
like,
of Kenya.
They look like little trolls.
Kinda. Back to the Nandi Bear. So he figures just like the gorilla, just like the giant forest hog, if this creature existed, we would have found it by now. He concluded that if there is anything to the Nandi Bear story besides imagination, I suspect that it might be word-of-mouth description of gorillas passed across the continent from areas where they live to where areas they do not. So his explanation is the game telephone.
Yeah, right. I gotta tell you, looking at pictures of this giant forest hog, I hate to go back to it, but I think it just further proves how something like this, how like just animals that we think of as fiction are. If you didn't think this thing exists and you saw it come out
A
of
giant
the woods
forest
at you,
hog, yes, no one would
With-
believe me.
with its curly tusks and its crazy little eyes, you'd be like,
if you
this is a
described this thing to someone who hadn't seen it,
yeah.
They would, if they drew a picture of it, it would look insane.
Yes.
It would look like some fucking Dr. Seuss fucking Feywild nonsense.
The forest
Nobody would
hog, the
believe
giant
you.
forest hog, can grow up to 6 feet tall and have
6 feet.
husks or tusks the size of 14 inches long.
Gigantic.
And then, like, so for sure, the Nandi Bear could or not the Nandi Bear to where it's a bear head on a sloth body, but
Sure.
a creature like this could definitely exist. And I mean, just because the forest hog was already discovered, why not this creature as well? It just takes time.
Yeah. If your excuse is, well, we would have found it by now, then you're pretty bad at being a scientist. Like, the whole point is you go until it's either completely disproven or you find it.
So here's another bad scientist.
When do you
Zoologist Reginald Eanes Pocket claimed that the reports of the Nandi Bear...
Sounds like a bad scientist. Or Reggie Pocket.
Get in here, Professor Pockets.
So he thought the Nandi Bear was a misidentified hyena, specifically the spotted hyena.
Oh, Professor Pockets.
You know, they call him
fool.
that because he cut holes in his pockets to diddle himself during class.
And now, if you're wondering what the spotted hyena looks like, it's not a giant creature. It's the hyenas from The Lion King.
Yeah, they're pretty big though. I mean, you wouldn't want a bigger one.
I would want one as a pet.
Sure. Have you seen the picture of that guy who has one as a pet? It's
Yeah,
scary.
he's I'm sure tougher than most of the people in his, what is it, fiefdom when you own a hyena.
Oh yeah, he's definitely some sort of warlord. But he's very good at it. I mean, the man has a fucking hyena on a spiked chain.
Oh, for sure. Now, however, this hyena is about 165 centimeters, 65 inches.
Mm.
And the height gets to 36 inches.
Right, so that doesn't sound anything like
The Nandi Bear's
Bear.
4 feet tall shoulders.
Yeah.
Let alone when it stands up tall, probably then reaching like 8 feet in mass, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Pocket, you're crazy, man. It's not the spotted hyena. Werewolf Radar says so. Submit to our will.
Yeah, dingus.
In 1932, the Natural History Museum, just the Natural History Museum, doesn't say of what state, okay, London, when you go to the link, stated that many reports of the Nandi Bear have proven to be nothing more than the spotted hyena. Boo, you're drunk, England.
Yeah, they're a few deep in the cups there.
Bad guess, stupids.
Now this one, however, maybe. Paleontologist George Gaylord Simpson attributed sightings of the Nandi Bear to the honey badger.
Oh well, now we know for a fact that the honey badger
Don't give a fuck.
don't give any kind of fucks.
Yes. So why not the honey badger? This is my theory. It might be wrong because it's a little bit out there. But I say that a honey badger killed a sloth and a bear, sewed the corpse together, and is now living inside of it. And that is the reports of honey badgers don't give no fucks.
All right,
Yeah,
guys, please
yeah.
get out there and find out what's going on with the Nandi Bear. It can't be Roger's thing. It just can't.
No, I think it has to be Roger's thing.
Oh no.
I think the honey bear is inside of a weird Matryoshka doll that it made of other animals, manipulating them like that alien from Men in Black.
But that's my segment, which I'll call the Naughty Nandi Bear. Which I'm gonna go with honey badger in a suit that he made. He cleaned it out. It's not bloody, you maniacs. It's like when you wear any type of animal skin. It's still atrocious, but
when you make any kind of corpse suit, it involves a lot of lacquer and pulleys and leather.
But it could also be a badger, or not a badger. It could be a lost sloth. It could be a mysterious bear. It could be an unknown ape that went extinct.
Unknown ape. I saw one explanation for the Mapinguari is an evolved version of the howler monkey, like a subspecies of the howler monkey evolved to the point of being ape-like.
I could see that.
which is I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
Because we
I
always
don't know
think that
anything
there's
about
like creatures that are a living fossil, which has scientifically appeared. Many living
Yeah.
fossils have been discovered, but not like, oh, this is the next fucking step. Bears
Yeah.
and sloths have now created the Nandi Bear, and they will rule parts of Kenya.
Well, hopefully it's not an unholy alliance, and it is in fact just an unknown species of one of the two of them, or maybe the link between them from when bears became sloths.
Hopefully we can work something out in the future.
Some sort of Pokemon evolution style. Somebody touched a bear with a sloth stone.
Oh, but
And you
that's
got the
my
Nandi Bear.
segment. Thank you guys for listening.
And so, with Roger's segment, so ends this episode of Werewolf Radar. I hope you had fun. I hope you wrapped yourself in foot upon foot of fleshy skin after microwaving it, of course.
Indeed.
I hope you are planning a trip to South America. I hope you're on Monstrucco Presents ScreamTours.com, where you can book flights to scary places and pay with organs.
Yes.
To go to South America and look for the Mapinguari. Because frankly, I think we need boots on the ground in South America and in Kenya. Because if we can get a Nandi Bear and a Mapinguari outside of, all the laid everyone's going to get, we're also...
Oh, yeah. The breeding possibilities are endless.
Think about, think about...
Well, no, not with the creature. Never mind.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying we can then maybe prove some sort of parallel cryptid evolution, maybe there's sloths all around you guys.
You could be a sloth right now.
Maybe sloths evolved to the point where they moved so slow that they just slipped behind us a dimension, and they're just tick-tocking along through the forests.
That's the world I want to live in. I'm not gonna lie, Jordan.
That did kind of sound like I was making it like they're doing TikTok dances in the forest, which is not a world that I want to live in. That's frightful. Speaking of TikTok, you should follow us on Twitter. We're not on TikTok. Instagram as well. You should come watch us on Twitch on Mondays, twitch.tv/
Sundays for the actual show.
Werewolf_radar. So Sundays for the actual show. Mondays we're playing games. I believe we're playing frickin' Valheim this week. Everybody's getting into it. We're gonna go.
I made a Werewolf Radar server.
Tangle with some trolls, I'm told. So we'll make that happen. Big shout out to Chuck from Snappy Little Numbers for our theme song at the top and the bottom of the show. Big shout out to our Dark Council members for coming and kicking it in the Zoom room. Adric, Kay Hammond. Who else was in here
for a while?
Who was it?
Nick B.
Oh yeah, Nick B was in here. And you could be in here too for the low price of even $1 at our Patreon. You will get weekly additional content and the pleasure of seeing the links that we don't force on the public in the Zoom room. But where can the people find you guys on the web? Your personal stuff.
Pigman X, of course, Cockpits, Werewolf Radar. Those are podcasts. Listen to them.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I'm at Exploder on Twitter. I was a guest on Bunk 237 recently, so that'll be coming out soon. We talked about the movie Aliens.
Ooh, you were also a guest on my other podcast, Fight
Island,
which happens the same day that Werewolf Radar happens. So after you listen to this one, go to listen to that one where we fight dead assholes.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun.
It's a fun audible at the beginning of the show, and we all had to figure out who are the real assholes out there. We're dead.
the deadest assholes and who are the assholest dead guys?
Anyway, get ready for that crossover, people. It's gonna be great.
Crossover. We actually we hijack the episode by the end of it and full on do a punch the sky spaceman Joe that I haven't told Sam about yet. Just like we're gonna do it right now, guys. Until next time, as always,
Punch the sky!
Space Joe.